This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
All right, RD. I want to ask you about Drew Sanders. Coming over from Alabama, now projected by Mel Kiper as a first-round draft pick. How important is it for Sam Pittman and his staff to continue to hit on these transfer guys and for them to get drafted early on in the NFL process?
Well, it's huge, absolutely huge. I mean, that's one of the big selling points of the other transfers, and making a big impact, obviously, by starting and then upping their stock to go to the NFL. And when you're successful on the SEC level like he was, I mean, and then get all the postseason honors and things like that. Other guys that are considering jumping in the transfer portal or are already in the portal are noticing that. That's something that they sold, to kids, not only at the linebacker position but other positions too. So no, that's absolutely huge.
Rocket's going to be entering his junior season. He's a guy that a lot of people like, not just in the Southeastern Conference, but all across college football. Richard, what is his ceiling in terms of potential NFL prospects? I know Quinshon Judkinson's in the lead as well, but I mean, what does Rocket project as a future NFL running back?
That's a good question. I mean, I would assume he would project very highly just because of the size of speed and his productivity at Arkansas. I mean, when you're one of the top leaders in rushing in the SEC and you take the pounding that he is taking and get as many carries, I mean, that shows durability. It shows the guy that can take the pounding and durability in the NFL is a big deal because just because of the roster numbers. But I mean, I would tend to think that just depending on what he does this year, which obviously you would tend to think that he'll have another good year. It'd be kind of hard to come back for another year, but I guess we'll find out.
Richard, let's shift to some Arkansas recruiting. I saw a post from Kane Archer's dad earlier this week that he had received his 13th offer. Now Tennessee has been added to the list. When all of this is said and done, he's a sophomore quarterback at Greenwood. I don't even know. I mean, Mitch Mustane's the name that comes to mind as far as heralded, highly sought-after quarterbacks in this state, but this guy hadn't even entered his sophomore season and has 13 offers. What would that even compare to in our state in the history of football at Arkansas?
I don't know if you can compare it just because it's kind of ironic. I was talking to another kid in that class, 2026 class, a running back last night who has 11 offers, and all of them Arkansas, Georgia, Alabama. I mean, it's just impressive list. Just the acceleration of the recruiting process, it just is so much different than what it was even back when Mitch Mustang was in high school. I mean, you probably back then, the best that I can remember, probably started getting some offers as a junior, maybe. But and I remember when I first started doing this, and I've been doing this for almost 20 years. I rarely ever talked to sophomores in the early part of doing this, and because they just weren't part of the recruiting process that much. And then it kind of changed probably 8-10 years ago, and now it's down to the freshmen. And hey, Arkansas and other schools have offered some 8th graders, so there's nothing to really compare it to, to say the Mitch Mustang era or anything like that, or really just it's been something that's been going on probably the last 4 or 5 years. Well, maybe a little longer than that, but it hadn't been a long time where freshmen and even 8th graders and we've seen some 7th graders get some offers, but it's very rare. But for him to have that many offers at this stage, and it's just obviously much different than what we're used to.
Should there be maybe a rule, or should that change at some point where maybe a kid can't be offered until he goes into his sophomore year or something? I know that you can't take visits to a certain point. I mean, I'm sure coaches even think it's ridiculous privately, they tell you, offering a 7th or 8th grader. Should that maybe be something that gains some conversation down the road when they're looking at changing transfer portal rules and NILs now on the table? Should we really be offering 7th and 8th graders?
No, I'm with you, and that's not a shot at the kids that are getting the offers. It's just that colleges just have to feel like that they have to get into the mix with kids even at such an early age, and I'm with you. I would prefer if there was a rule that you couldn't offer till a sophomore. I just think the hype and just the kids can't just be kids in middle school, junior high, what have you. I just think it's gone too far. But I honestly, I haven't heard any. I think I've heard some coaches talk about how they think it's a little much, but at the same time, I don't know if it's to the point where enough schools, enough coaches, enough ADs have said, "Hey, this is enough. We need to change this." I don't know if I've heard enough momentum in that area to see a change, but I would like to see a change. I'm not going to lie to you.
Richard Davenport, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, Whole Hog Sports. On that same thought, Richard, how many kids do you see that are offered so early on and even middle school, like you're referring to, that maybe lose focus, get complacent relative to guys that continue to work and strive to get better? How does that compute and really factor in when it comes to guys getting early offers, and gals for that matter?
Yeah, that's not something I really have paid attention to, but best that I can tell off the top of my head, I don't know if it makes a huge difference. I think it can. I think it can kind of slow down the. I don't know, just the desire, or you become complacent. I could see that happening with somebody at that age. It's hard not to get the big head and think you've already arrived when obviously those are just verbal offers, and it doesn't mean that a lot. I mean, it does mean something, but it doesn't mean that that offer will be there for you when you're a junior or a senior or anything like that. But it takes a lot of maturity on a kid's part, and also the family members have to try to keep them in check and say, hey, take out the garbage, kind of bring them down to earth, when these kids think that they're the next coming, so I really haven't paid a huge amount of attention to that. I think it could be a little bit of a problem here or there, but I think for the most part, the ones that have got the early offers, they seem to have at least continue to progress in high school and go on to college, the best that I can remember off the top of my head.
Richard, Tommy was asking you about Kane Archer, and I think you've mentioned this a show or two ago, that the next few classes here in the state of Arkansas are pretty solid football-wise. Any idea what his class in 2026 looks like when he'll be making his decision on where he wants to go to school?
I think it's going to be a pretty good one. It's early. I mean, you have Cody Taylor at the same school who's got an offer, offensive lineman in the 26 class. There's some other 26 out there, but off the top of my head, can't remember any other names. But I just know the 25 class is going to be very good. The 24 class already is up to 8 offers as far as in-state offers for Arkansas. Arkansas has offered 8 in-state guys, and obviously that number could continue to go up. There's a few that they're kind of evaluating, but as far as the 26, it's a little early. I think, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't really thought too much about it other than the 24s and 25s.
Yeah. Let's talk some basketball for a second. It's state tournament week across Arkansas. There's tournaments from Rogers to Blytheville and many points in between. You've been keeping up, and who are some of the players you're watching as first rounds and second rounds? First round's about to wind down. A lot of second round quarterfinal type games happening today and tomorrow.
Well, during the dead period in February, I had a better opportunity to pay attention, and now with Arkansas football hosting a bunch of kids on Saturday, I've been kind of tied up with that and focused on who's coming this Saturday. I'm not going to lie to you. I just haven't been able to play. I've been seeing bits and pieces, but I haven't been paying as much attention as I normally would with football starting to have kids on campus not only this weekend but next and beyond.
Yeah, and I guess we're was it the 15th, I think, is the first practice, spring practice. So we are closing in on just 2 weeks out, and I know that'd be a time for some high school coaches to be visiting for football and be an active time on campus.
Yeah, and then, obviously after basketball season, us and them will have kids on campus and, start hearing, about transfers and then you throw in football. It's nonstop.
I think it's going to be pretty active following basketball season in that transfer portal.
Always is. Even when you don't expect it, like I think maybe there's been a year or two you thought, well, they may not hit the portal as much. They always do.
Richard, we'll leave it there this morning, man. We appreciate your insight as always, and we'll talk next week.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
All right, Richard Davenport with us here every Thursday on the Morning Rush.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.